We're standing right now on the esplanade beside the FDR Drive, and we're waiting patiently for the start of the erection of the Rockefeller University Lab Building first module. So here we are, the East River of Manhattan, and behind me you'll see the crane which is ready to, it's a barge crane which is going to lift that large piece of the structure and put it into place after midnight when they close the FDR Drive lanes. The piece that's being lifted tonight is somewhere in the order of 650 tons. They vary because on the south side of the drive it's 78 feet wide, and then when we get to module 15, I think we're at about 92 foot wide, so obviously it gets heavier, and that'll be the heaviest lift. But this lift is pretty significant, and it's 50 feet north-south, it's about 78 feet east-west, and it's, as you can see behind me, it's actually 3 levels, which is 2 stories plus a little bit.
The biggest reward in this project is tonight, watching it get erected, to see the steel being moved and put into place. There's so far been months and thousands of shop drawings that we've checked, and years of designing, but now it all comes together.
The project that we're building here is a lab building for Rockefeller University. It goes from 64th Street to 68th Street, and essentially it crosses over the FDR Drive. The actual building itself has 2 lab levels, and then on top of that it has some other functions. We call them the pop-ups, and there's some really nice pavilions with cafeterias and other functions in there. And then the roof, which is really mostly at level 3, that roof is going to be a paved, planted, beautiful garden, which will be linking back to the entire Rockefeller University campus. So really what it does is it expands their whole campus out over the FDR Drive close to the river. It's going to be really cool. Well, actually there were 2 things that were engineering challenges. One, which is kind of a normal thing for a lab, but we'll talk about that in a minute. The second thing is that is the actual logistics. The design had to be done to be able to modify and to be able to work for the kind of logistics of building it over the highway. So there was a design and a redesign and a redesign, and working with the contractors to figure out the best way to actually build this. Second challenge, which is an interesting challenge because labs like to be like solid as a rock, and you don't want to have vibration in a lab because your equipment won't work. And this is Rockefeller University, or they have about equal Nobel Prize winners to the rest of the United States in science and medicine. So it's a major issue for them to have a lab that has to function properly. That's the main thing.
You don't see many projects along the same scale with the Y columns, the cantilever diaphragms, the modular construction. So that was the biggest challenge of seeing something new, but it was also the most exciting part, that it wasn't a typical project that you would see every day. So it challenged me a lot, and I found it very interesting.
I'm very proud of this involved in this project, because this is a very complex project, high-end, one of a kind, in other words, because Raffaele Vignoli, the architect, is famous in creating this very beautiful projects. So actually this is the one of the project I have done with TT in this much big scale with so many uniqueness. So that's what I'm proud of.
This project to me is quite amazing, but it's almost like a full circle. The first complex project that I worked on, and the one that I feel like made me a real engineer, was New York Hospital, which starts at 68th Street to 70th Street and spans over the highway. And it's about 13 years ago, I stood over there on a winter's night watching them lifting a piece over. Now, I thought it was challenging then. It was 25 feet north-south, and it was only 2 levels. This is more than double the volume, and really is quite tricky because we have columns that are only every 96 feet. The columns on that other one were every 25 feet. So the logistics and the Herculean effort was I thought was quite an effort then, but really nothing compared to this.